The Boeing 747 has always been more than just an airplane. Since its first flight in 1969, it earned the nickname Queen of the Skies and became a symbol of long-distance travel, luxury, and engineering ambition. Over the decades, the 747 family evolved with the 747-100, the 747-200, the classic 747-400, and later the 747-8, which is still in service today. Now, as we look toward 2026, many enthusiasts and aviation followers are asking what a future version of the 747 could look like, especially as airlines continue to balance efficiency, capacity, and passenger comfort. Today we are taking a deep dive into the idea of a Boeing 747-2026 edition, what features it could bring, what kind of performance we might expect, and why this aircraft still matters in the modern aviation world. Let us start with the core of the 747 experience, capacity, and range. Traditionally, the Boeing 747 was designed as a high-capacity long-haul aircraft capable of carrying over 400 passengers comfortably across continents. The 747-400 was a workhorse for decades, and the 747-8 Intercontinental, the most modern passenger version, can seat around 467 people in a typical three-class configuration. If a Boeing 747-2026 were to emerge, it would almost certainly keep that high-capacity advantage but refine it with more flexible cabin layouts. Think of adaptable seating zones, quieter cabins, and new in-flight technology, all aimed at making long journeys more relaxing. With the growing demand for premium economy and flexible seating, we could imagine a cabin designed around comfort rather than just maximum numbers. In terms of performance, Boeing has always focused on efficiency and range. The 747-8 currently has a range of about 7,730 nautical miles. For a 2026 version, improvements in aerodynamics and lighter materials could potentially stretch that even further, allowing airlines to connect distant city pairs non-stop. For example, flights like New York to Sydney or London to Santiago could be achieved more economically, making global travel more seamless than ever. Under the hood, instead of traditional horsepower figures used in cars, what really matters here is engine thrust. The 747-8 uses General Electric GEnx 2B67 engines, each producing about 66,500 pounds of thrust. If Boeing were to introduce a 2026 model, we might see upgraded power plants with even better fuel burn, lower emissions, and quieter operations, fully compliant with stricter international regulations on noise and sustainability. Speaking of sustainability, this is one of the most crucial factors shaping the future of aviation. A Boeing 747-2026 would almost certainly have to integrate advanced fuel efficiency measures, potentially including compatibility with sustainable aviation fuels, hybrid electric assistance for taxiing, or improved wing designs inspired by modern composite materials. Airlines are under increasing pressure to reduce their carbon footprint, and a massive aircraft like the 747 would only make sense in a future where it can balance capacity with lower environmental impact. Some concepts even explore folding wingtips or reprofiled fuselage structures that reduce drag and boost aerodynamic performance. Now let us move into the design aspects. One of the most iconic features of the Boeing 747 is its hump, the upper deck that gave the plane its instantly recognizable silhouette. In the 747-400 era, that upper deck was often used for first-class suites or business lounges, while the 747-8 extended it further, offering even more room. A 2026 design could take this even further, possibly integrating an ultra-modern lounge space, co-working areas for business travelers, or even wellness zones for passengers on ultra-long-haul flights. Imagine being able to stretch, work, or even meditate in a dedicated cabin space while crossing the Pacific. The design language would likely embrace modern lighting, quieter air circulation, and advanced in-flight entertainment systems with faster Wi-Fi that mirrors the speed and reliability of connections on the ground. When it comes to price, historically the Boeing 747 has always been a significant investment for airlines. The 747-8 Intercontinental, for example, carried a list price in the range of $418 million before production officially ended. If a Boeing 747-2026 were introduced, we could expect a similar or higher figure, possibly pushing beyond $450 million depending on configuration. Of course, airlines usually negotiate discounts, and final purchase prices often vary, but such an aircraft would always represent one of the most expensive assets in an airline's fleet. However, the argument in favor would be clear: massive capacity, improved efficiency, and iconic passenger appeal. Performance isn't only about range and efficiency, it is also about passenger experience. Modern travelers demand comfort and connectivity, and any future Boeing 747 would have to deliver on that front. Quieter cabins, better pressurization at lower cabin altitudes, humidity control to reduce jet lag, and customizable lighting for circadian rhythm adjustment are all expected. Combine this with next-generation in-flight entertainment, virtual reality features, and 5G in-flight internet, and you begin to see a flying experience that feels closer to a modern smart environment than a traditional airplane. Looking at competition, the Boeing 747 would face challenges from newer twin-engine jets like the Boeing 777X and Airbus A350. Both are already proving to be efficient alternatives, and airlines have been moving toward twin-engine aircraft for lower fuel burn and operating costs. This means that if a Boeing 747-2026 were to exist, it would need a clear niche, either as a premium long-haul flagship or as a unique solution for ultra-busy hub-to-hub routes where sheer capacity is critical. It might also find renewed life in cargo service, where the 747 has always excelled thanks to its nose-loading cargo door and huge payload capacity. The cargo market remains strong, and a next-generation 747 could thrive in global logistics, especially with the rise of e-commerce and fast freight delivery across continents. The timeline is also important. Boeing officially ended production of the 747 in 2023 with the delivery of the final 747-8F freighter. So the introduction of a brand new 747 in 2026 is highly unlikely in reality. But if such an announcement were made, the release would be a milestone event for the aviation industry, celebrated by enthusiasts and airlines alike. It would represent not just the continuation of a legendary line, but also Boeing's willingness to adapt a classic aircraft into the modern sustainable age. In summary, a Boeing 747-2026 concept would bring together the legacy of one of the most iconic airplanes in history with the demands of modern aviation. It would combine high passenger capacity, extended range, advanced engines with reduced emissions, futuristic cabin design, and a strong focus on passenger well-being. It would also come at a premium price, appealing to airlines looking for a flagship aircraft that is as much about image and prestige as it is about performance. While in reality the Queen of the Skies has already taken her final bow in production terms, the dream of a future 747 continues to inspire aviation lovers. Whether as a passenger jet or a next-generation freighter, the 747 remains a symbol of human ambition to connect the world through the skies.